The night deepens, and a soft breeze gently touches the cool, dark field. You lie back and look straight up at a huge open sky. It is filled with thousands of tiny bright stars that blink in the quiet dark. Right in front of you, a single blade of green grass stands tall and still. It looks like a thin shadow against the glowing band of the Milky Way. Slowly, the loud noises of the busy day fade away into the dark. The heavy worries that crush your chest begin to lift in the cool air. Out here in the quiet night, the fast rush of the modern world cannot reach you. The heavy weight of your daily life melts into the soft earth. You are left with nothing but the calm rhythm of your own slow breathing. Looking up at that endless sky changes how you feel inside. You see that our whole world is just a tiny speck of dust. It hangs quietly in a giant empty space that goes on forever. This is a cosmic perspective. It is a way of looking at the universe that makes you feel small in a wonderful way. It brings deep peace to a tired mind. When you feel how huge the night sky is, your daily fears lose their sharp edges. The mistakes you made today do not matter to those ancient stars. They just keep shining, calm and steady. You realize that your personal worries are very small. You are safe, held gently by a universe that is far too big to worry about little things. Long ago, a quiet man found this exact same peace in a simple green field. His name was Walt Whitman. In the warm summer of 1855, he was just a gentleman in his 30s. He was not yet a famous face from history. He was just a person looking for a quiet place to rest his mind. He did not shout or rush around like the busy men in the city. Instead, he lay completely flat on the warm ground of a sleepy meadow. He spent hours just looking closely at the earth. He stayed perfectly still, watching a single spear of summer grass bend in the slow wind. He studied its shape and the quiet way it lived out its simple life. From that quiet field, the poet went to a small room in Brooklyn to share his calm thoughts. He sat at a heavy wooden desk in a cramped print shop. Slowly and carefully, his hands picked up tiny metal pieces of lead. He placed them in a row to spell out his gentle words. He was building his poems by hand, letter by letter. He pressed these metal letters into soft paper to make the first copy of his famous book. He called it Leaves of Grass. He wanted the book itself to feel like a piece of the earth. So he wrapped the covers in rough green cloth. When you held the book, the bumpy cloth felt just like touching a living plant. In this green book, he shared a beautiful system about how all living things are tied together. He wrote that every tiny piece of stuff that makes up his body also makes up yours. He believed that nature shares all its pieces equally with everyone. The atoms in the dirt, the trees, and the stars are the exact same atoms inside of you. This means no one is ever truly alone in the world. You are built from the same dust as the quiet grass and the shining moon. It is an unbreakable web that holds all humans and all of nature in one safe embrace. When you understand this deep connection, you stop feeling lost. You realize you belong to the earth. This gentle idea changed how people saw the world around them. It offered a map for pure peace and total fairness. It told people that everyone is equal because we are all made of the same natural dust. It was a soft, steady voice speaking out in a very loud time. It offered a calm blueprint for living together. Back then, people were deeply split apart by loud arguments and bitter fights. The country felt like it was cracking into pieces, moving closer to a dark end. But his healing poetry gave them a place to rest their heavy minds. His words acted like a cool drink of water for a very tired century. The deep peace of his words was very different from the loud world outside his door. The streets of New York in the 1850s were packed, dirty, and incredibly noisy. Heavy wooden wagons pulled by tired horses slammed hard against the stone roads all day long. The The noise of those wheels was very loud. There was no quiet space to think. Men shouted loudly from the street corners to sell their goods. Dark, thick smoke from burning coal filled the air above the buildings. This heavy smoke blocked the sun and made it hard to take a deep breath. The city was a fast, angry machine that never seemed to stop or sleep. To escape that thick noise, the poet had a special routine. He walked away from the heavy smoke and stepped onto the Fulton ferry. He rowed the large wooden boat back and forth across the wide grey water of the East River. He let the steady, rocking motion of the boat soothe his tired thoughts. He left the crowded city behind to walk the quiet shores of an island he called Paumanok. He stood on the wet sand and watched the water move in and out. The steady rhythm of the tide washed away the noise of the loud streets. The endless sound of the waves brought him a deep mental stillness. But this quiet, rocking rhythm could not last forever. A dark storm of anger finally broke over the whole country. Cannons fired loud, heavy blasts at a place called Fort Sumter. The clear sky filled with thick black smoke. The gentle peace of the quiet fields was suddenly gone. This was the start of the American Civil War. It was a violent, painful crash that ripped the country in half. The fighting shattered the calm, united world that the poet had built in his mind. The war broke the peaceful web of nature. Now he had to find a brand new way to heal the deep wounds of a broken nation. The start of the war changed how news moved. It brought long lists of names printed on thin paper. Every day large crowds gathered in the busy streets of New York. The people waited quietly for the morning news. The printed pages held a dark weight. They told the worried city who was hurt and who was gone. It was a hard way to learn the truth. Walt stood in the middle of these worried crowds. He held a copy of the Tribune newspaper tightly in his hands. His eyes moved slowly down the long rows of tiny black letters. He was looking for just one special name among the many. He was searching the long page for his brother, George. His heart beat with a slow dread. He needed to know if his brother was safe. The scary news pushed him into fast action. In the cold winter of 1862, he took a desperate trip south. He travelled straight to the muddy battlefield of Fredericksburg. His mind raced with deep worry as the train rolled along. He did not know what he would find in the cold dirt. He only knew he had to help his family. The shock of the army camp struck him hard. He saw the terrible cost of the fighting right in front of his eyes. Outside the large cloth tents, the sight of broken bodies made his chest feel tight. The pain of so many young men filled the freezing winter air. His quiet, peaceful world was turned upside down. The gentle beauty he knew felt far away. This sudden sadness changed his life forever. He knew he could not go back to his safe, quiet home. He left his old life as a busy writer in New York far behind him. He packed his small bags with just a few things. Then he moved to the loud, crowded city of Washington. He traded his pen for a life of caring work. He made a firm choice to stay and help the broken men. He became a gentle nurse who worked for free. He walked into the dark, crowded rooms where the hurt soldiers lay. He wanted to bring a tiny piece of comfort to their deepest pain. He gave up his free time to be near them. His own life became entirely about easing their heavy burdens. The large rooms at Armory Square Hospital were dark and grim. Endless lines of thin cloth beds filled the huge space. There was hardly any room to walk between the rows of tired men. The heavy air smelled of old dirt, sick bodies, and deep wounds. The smell hung in the air like a thick cloud. It was a place of deep sadness and slow waiting. Soft shadows danced on the walls in the low light. The quiet groans of tired men echoed through the long night. Boys from the north and boys from the south lay right next to each other. In this dark place, the angry fighting did not matter anymore. They were all just hurting children who missed their homes. They all needed the same gentle care. Walt sat softly beside these young broken men. He did not rush them or speak with a loud voice. He simply stayed near them for hours at a time, offering his quiet strength. He held their warm hands as they slowly faded away into a deep sleep. His gentle touch brought them a quiet kind of peace. He became a calm rock in a scary storm. He often took out a small piece of paper and a pen. He leaned in close to hear their weak, tired voices. He listened carefully as they spoke their very last words. He wrote down every soft whisper. Then he carefully folded these tender letters. He sent them home to their crying mothers, bringing a final message of love. It was a sad duty done with pure love. Outside those sad rooms, the big world kept turning. The warm breath of spring arrived in Washington in 1863. The earth slowly woke up from its long, cold winter sleep. Green leaves began to push through the wet, muddy ground. The sun shone a little brighter each day. The steady wheel of nature kept rolling forward, bringing new life to the tired city. The contrast between inside and outside was sharp and strange. Inside, the rooms were filled with deep sadness and dark blood. But just outside the windows, bright purple lilac bushes began to bloom. Their sweet, fresh smell drifted into the heavy air of the sick rooms. The beauty of the blooming flowers felt like a gentle promise. It showed that life would always find a way to grow again. Walt needed a way to calm his own racing mind. After a long, hard shift, he followed a special, quiet routine. He walked out of the heavy hospital doors and stepped into the crisp night. He took a long, deep breath of the fresh, clean air. He let the cool wind wash over his tired face. This simple act helped clear away the heavy sadness of the day. He walked slowly toward the center of Washington in the dark. He tilted his head back and looked up at the large dome of the Capitol building. Above it, he watched the silent stars shining in the deep black sky. He let the quiet night cool his tired thoughts. The steady glowing of the stars gave his mind a safe place to rest. He stood very still. The night sky over the city was a huge, comforting blanket. Down below, thousands of tiny campfires flickered in the wet mud. The small orange flames danced in the dark night. They looked like tiny, warm stars resting on the cold, hard ground. The soft smoke drifted up toward the heavens. It was a quiet, sleepy scene in the middle of a very loud war. But high above the little fires, the real stars marched in perfect silence. The vast Milky Way stretched all the way across the deep sky. It was huge, peaceful, and completely still. It did not care about the loud noise or the angry fights of the people below. The stars just kept shining exactly as they always had. They offered a beautiful, quiet truth to anyone who looked up. Looking at this huge, silent sky changed how Walt felt inside. He saw that the angry fights of men were actually very small. Human anger was just a tiny passing spark in the dark night. The deep, vast universe would always stay exactly the same. The stars would never fall or break apart. They would always be there to guide the way, long after the fighting stopped. This big, wide view brought him a deep, heavy calm. He knew the changing seasons and the rolling stars were forever. They promised that peace would always return to the tired earth. This cosmic truth helped him breathe slowly. It helped him let go of his deep sadness. He felt small, but in a very safe and comforting way. He was just one tiny piece of an endless whole. Walt wanted to bring the quiet outside world inside to the sick men. He walked into the hot, stuffy hospital rooms in Washington in 1863. He carried heavy canvas bags slung over his tired shoulders. These bags were full of fresh, living things from the earth. He brought bright oranges and sweet, wild blackberries. He also carried handfuls of freshly cut flowers. He walked slowly from bed to bed in the long rows. The hospital air was always stale and very hard to breathe. He gently handed a piece of cool fruit to a resting boy. He placed a bright flower on a small wooden table nearby. He wanted the men to feel the soft, living world again. This simple act broke the heavy sadness. The sweet smell of a fresh flower changed everything in those hot rooms. Just the sharp scent of a crushed pine needle brought deep peace. It felt like a cool breeze blowing through a very warm space. The tired men closed their eyes and breathed in the fresh smell. It took away their sharp pain for a little while, replacing it with calm. The soft smells took their worried minds far away from the loud war. In the hot summer of 1864, these gentle scents brought them home. They remembered the quiet green fields of their childhood family farms. They remembered playing under tall, shady trees in the soft grass. For a few sweet minutes, the worried soldiers felt completely safe again. Their tight muscles finally relaxed. Walt saw a gentle, endless cycle happening everywhere in the natural world. He watched many young men gently pass away in those sad rooms. But he did not see death as a scary, dark, or final end. He saw it as a quiet, peaceful return to the warm earth. The body simply goes back to sleep in the soft dirt. It rests there quietly. By the end of 1865 in Washington, this idea brought him great comfort. The resting bodies would slowly mix with the rich, dark forest soil. They would feed the deep earth and help new green shoots grow. Next spring, fresh, healthy grass would push up into the warm sun. The lost boys would live again in every tiny, bright green blade. Nature wastes nothing. But giving so much care slowly took away his own physical strength. Walt spent long years watching so much pain and deep human sadness. His mind grew very heavy from carrying all those dark memories. His own body started to break down from the hard daily work. He was completely tired, and his old bones ached all the time. He needed a deep rest. He caught a bad sickness called hospital malaria while working in the wards. By 1873 in Washington, he felt very weak and very deeply sick. He could no longer walk the long halls of the warm sick rooms. His bright energy was totally gone, replaced by a deep, heavy feeling. He needed to find a gentle way to heal his broken body in nature. He travelled far away to a very quiet place in New Jersey. It was a peaceful spot called Timber Creek, hidden deep in the woods. Far inside the forest, the air felt cool, fresh, and very clean. Huge old oak trees reached high into the bright, clear blue sky. Thick hickory trees stood strong and tall along the wet, muddy banks. It was very far away from the loud, busy streets of the city. There were no sounds of war or sad cries of pain here. There was only the gentle rustle of green leaves blowing in the wind. Soft, wet moss covered the big grey rocks near the gently flowing water. The whole forest felt like a safe, hidden room made just for resting. In this quiet place, Walt started a very special kind of healing. He did not just look at nature from a safe, far distance. He went deep into the wild woods to touch the living trees. He grabbed young, bendy sapling trees and gently pulled on their thin branches. This slow, steady exercise helped his weak muscles wake up and grow stronger. He also found the oldest, biggest trees hiding in the deep woods. He leaned his heavy, tired body right against their thick, rough trunks. He wanted to feel the deep, steady strength of the old, solid wood. He imagined the strong tree sharing its hidden, quiet power with him. Slowly, the quiet energy of the forest flowed right into his bones, bringing gentle healing. Touching the rough, warm tree bark felt deeply good to his bare hands. He closed his eyes and just listened to the gently blowing wind. The soft sound of the moving leaves brushed away his bad memories. In the warm summer of 1876 at Timber Creek, his heavy heart lifted. The terrible, loud pictures of the war finally started to slowly fade away. He felt a deep, warm peace wash over his whole tired mind. The strong trees did not judge him or ask him for any favours. They just held him up when he was much too weak to stand. This simple, quiet support made him feel completely safe and deeply loved. He could finally breathe out the heavy sadness he had carried for years. He deeply wanted to share this gentle healing with the whole world. He started to write beautiful new poems in Camden, New Jersey in 1881. He wrote his quiet words to sound just like slowly moving water. He made his sentences very long, letting them stretch out very far. The soft words rolled forward slowly, just like heavy water rolling onto sand. When you read the poem out loud, you feel a slow, rocking rhythm. The long line rises up slowly, like a big, heavy ocean wave. Then it softly falls away, pulling back into the deep, dark sea. This gentle rising and falling perfectly matches the beating of a calm heart. It teaches the quiet reader to slow down and breathe very deeply. This slow, steady rhythm came from the quiet beaches he loved so much. He often sat totally alone on the sandy New Jersey shoreline. High above him, the big sky was covered in soft grey clouds. The cool ocean water crashed onto the wet sand over and over again. It was a steady, sleepy sound that never stopped or changed its speed. The salty ocean mist hung heavy in the cool grey beach air. Far out over the dark water, a single seabird called out softly. The lonely bird song drifted slowly over the rolling white ocean waves. Everything on the empty beach felt wide, open, and totally at peace. The endless moving water washed away all the loud worries of the world. After the American Civil War ended, Walt Whitman went back to his life's work. He started to change his great book, Leaves of Grass. He wanted to add the deep pain he saw in the hospital tents. He wrote a new part called Drum Taps. It was full of sad memories from the long, hard fight, but he did not want to leave his readers feeling broken. He wanted to show them a way to feel whole again. He mixed the dark memories of the war with the bright light of nature. He knew that the green earth could swallow up the worst human pain. The trees and the dirt do not judge us for our fights. They just wait patiently to help us grow new roots. This was his special kind of healing nature poetry. It took the worst trauma and wrapped it in a soft green blanket. The country felt a huge, crushing sadness when President Abraham Lincoln died. Whitman wrote a very famous poem to help everyone cry. He did not write about politics or angry fights. Instead, he built a quiet system of 3 natural symbols. First, he wrote about a bright star falling in the dark western sky. This falling star stood for the lost leader sinking into the night. Next, he wrote about a beautiful spring lilac bush blooming in a yard. The purple flowers smelled sweet and showed that life always comes back. Finally, he added the quiet song of a lonely hermit thrush. This small bird sang a gentle song deep in the dark woods. These 3 simple things worked together like a soft lullaby. They gave the sad country a safe place to rest its tired mind. This calm poem changed how a broken nation dealt with its tears. It took a scary, sudden loss and made it feel natural. People did not have to hold on to their sharp, angry grief forever. They could look at the changing seasons and understand the cycle of life. Every winter brings death, but every spring brings fresh green leaves. The poem turned ugly violence into a beautiful, quiet truth. This gave the readers a clear, easy path to feel better. They could walk outside and see the stars, the flowers, and the birds. Nature was doing exactly what the poem said it would do. The huge, heavy weight of national sadness started to feel a little lighter. People learned that losing someone is just one part of a much bigger story. The earth keeps spinning, and the sun always comes up again. To understand this piece, Whitman spent hours listening to the hermit thrush. In the spring of 1865, he often walked near the quiet swamps. He would stand perfectly still in the damp, muddy woods. He waited for the small brown bird to start its evening song. The bird hid deep in the thick green bushes where no one could see it. When the bird finally sang, Whitman focused all his attention on that one sound. He blocked out the wind, the snapping twigs, and his own busy thoughts. He just listened to the clear, sweet notes floating through the damp air. This deep focus acts like a brake on a racing, worried mind. By listening to just one pure sound, the brain stops jumping around. The quiet swamp becomes a safe, empty room for the tired soul. This careful listening brings a deep, warm feeling of calm to the body. When you hear that lonely bird echoing in the dark, you feel understood. The bird is singing to the night, just like a sad heart cries in the dark. But the song is so sweet and steady that it chases the fear away. It tells the nervous system that it is finally safe to relax. Whitman wrote in his notes how this simple sound washed his worries away. The lonely song makes you feel like you have a quiet friend in the shadows. You do not have to talk or explain why you are sad. You just have to sit in the soft dirt and let the music wash over you. The deep, heavy loneliness melts into a gentle, shared peace. As the years passed, Whitman grew old and his body started to fail. In 1873, he had a bad stroke that made it hard to move. He had to leave the busy city and move to Camden, New Jersey. He spent most of his time stuck in a heavy wooden wheelchair. He could no longer walk for miles through the deep woods or along the wide beaches. His giant physical world suddenly shrank down to a very small size. The man who used to roam the whole American map was now stuck at home. He mostly stayed in one tiny fenced backyard in Camden. But this small space did not make him feel trapped or sad. Instead, he just changed how he looked at the world around him. He learned to look down at the dirt instead of up at the sky. Whitman discovered a wonderful secret in that tiny backyard. He found that the very small world works exactly like the huge, giant world. A single, fuzzy bumblebee holds the same magic as a giant spinning star. A common green weed pushing through the dirt is just as strong as a big tree. This is the magic of the micro perspective matching the macro perspective. In his letters from Camden, he explained this tiny, perfect system. If you look closely at a small ant, you see a whole universe of life. The tiny bugs follow the exact same rules as the giant planets. They move with purpose, they rest, and they belong to the earth. This cosmic perspective means you do not have to look far away to find wonder. The whole giant universe is hiding right under your own shoes. Every afternoon, Whitman followed a very simple, quiet routine in his yard. He rolled his wheelchair into a warm patch of bright yellow sunlight. Then he sat totally motionless for hours, just watching the ground. He looked closely at how the ants carried tiny crumbs across the warm stones. He watched the afternoon light slowly change colour on the green leaves. He kept careful records of these tiny, everyday events in his notebooks. He felt the soft shifts in the gentle wind on his old, wrinkled face. He watched how a single blade of grass bent when a bug landed on it. He did not try to change anything or rush the slow afternoon. He just let the tiny, busy world move around him while he sat in total peace. This deep focus on tiny things proved something very important. It showed that absolute peace is always waiting for you, right where you are. You do not need to travel to a huge, empty forest to feel calm. You do not need to climb a tall mountain to find healing nature poetry. The calming magic of the universe is packed into every single inch of dirt. This means that anyone, anywhere, can find a quiet place to rest their mind. Even if you are stuck in a small room, the world is still full of wonder. A tiny bug on a window or a single leaf falling is enough to calm you. The huge cosmic peace of the world fits perfectly into the smallest spaces. It is always there, waiting to help you close your eyes and sleep. In the late years, like 1888, Walt Whitman found deep comfort in how the world worked. He knew the sun would always rise, no matter what happened. He saw that the ocean tides always rolled in and out. This perfect rhythm never failed, even when human life felt messy or hard. It was a huge relief to his tired mind. Human worries seem very big when we hold them inside. But the steady rules of nature do not care about our stress. Gravity always holds us safe. The seasons always turn right on time. Knowing this gave the old poet a deep, quiet peace that nothing could shake. It meant he did not have to fix everything himself. Soon, the warm days in New Jersey began to fade away. The soft green leaves dried up and fell to the cold dirt. Then, the heavy winter clouds rolled in over the quiet streets. Thick white snow began to fall from the grey sky. It covered the mud and hid all the dead leaves from sight. The thick snow worked like a heavy blanket over the whole town. It buried the busy roads and filled the empty yards. Every sharp edge in the world became soft and round. The loud noises of the neighborhood slowly faded into a deep hush. The winter snow brought a heavy, peaceful sleep to the land. Out in the fields near Camden, the world stood perfectly still. The bright white snow made the dark tree branches look very sharp. There was no wind to shake the bare woods. The birds were gone, and no bugs crawled on the frozen ground. The whole earth seemed to stop breathing for a little while. Everything was quiet under the deep, cold snow. Sounds did not travel far in the thick, icy air. A footstep made only a soft, dull crunch. The earth had entered a time of deep, total rest. It was a beautiful, frozen picture of perfect calm. Walt Whitman knew exactly what the trees were doing in the cold. They were not dead, even though they looked bare. The tall trees pulled all their sweet sap deep down into their roots. They moved their energy away from the freezing wind. They hid their life safe and warm under the frozen dirt. The trees stopped trying to grow new leaves in the dark winter. They saved all their strength and simply went to sleep. They did not fight the cold or the snow. They just rested securely in the dark earth and waited. This slow, quiet choice kept them safe until the sun returned. Watching this long winter sleep teaches a tired mind a gentle lesson. It shows that dark, quiet days are not bad things. Times of doing nothing are not failures at all. Resting in the dark is a very important part of life. We all need a quiet season to save our strength. The winter proves that rest always leads to new growth later. You cannot have bright flowers without the dark, frozen sleep first. Anxious minds can find deep comfort in this natural rule. It gives us permission to stop working and just be still. We can trust that our own spring will eventually come. When April finally arrived, the heavy freeze began to break. The warm sun melted the thick ice into tiny, clear drops of water. The hard, frozen soil turned back into soft, wet mud. The sound of dripping water filled the quiet morning air. The sleeping earth slowly started to wake up again. Soon, tiny spots of bright green appeared in the brown dirt. Small, brave shoots of grass pushed up through the wet mud. They reached up toward the warm sunlight with quiet strength. The bare branches grew soft, tiny buds on their tips. Life returned to the world, just as the rules of nature promised. In his famous book, Leaves of Grass, the poet shared a beautiful idea. He believed that something holy and good lives inside every single thing. This idea is called pantheism. It means the magic of the universe is not far away in the sky. It is right here, mixed into the dirt and the water. He saw this gentle magic inside every hard rock and tall tree. He even saw it inside his own aging body. There was no separation between the holy stars and the common mud. Everything was made of the exact same wonderful stuff. This meant the whole world was a safe and sacred place. Walt Whitman used this beautiful idea to chase away lonely feelings. When you believe everything is connected, you are never truly alone. You are a real part of the trees, the wind, and the dirt. The whole universe is like one big, quiet family. This thought wraps around a lonely heart like a warm hug. The sadness of feeling separate just melts away in this big view. You do not have to feel lost in a huge, empty world. You belong exactly where you are sitting right now. The air you breathe is shared with the deep, green forests. You are deeply tied to every part of this calm earth. To feel this connection, the poet practiced a simple habit at Timber Creek. he would find a quiet spot and lie completely flat on the ground. He rested his back against the solid, warm dirt. He spread his arms out wide into the soft grass. He let his whole body become perfectly heavy and still. He did not try to hold himself up at all. He just let the strong pull of gravity do all the work. Gravity held him safely against the spinning planet. He felt the firm earth pushing up against his tired spine. He let the ground carry all of his weight and all of his worries. When Walt Whitman laid on the soft ground at Timber Creek, a deep emotional release washed over him. He let all the tight muscles in his back finally unclench. He allowed his stiff jaw to drop and soften in the cool air. The heavy tension of the long day drained right down into the soil. He stopped trying to fight the steady pull of the earth. He just gave in to the deep, holding power of gravity. As his body relaxed completely, his breathing naturally began to slow down. Each breath grew deeper and much more quiet in his chest. His ribs rose and fell in perfect time with the gentle wind. He did not have to force this deep peace to happen. Surrendering to the solid earth brought a sweet relief to his tired bones. The heavy weight of his own busy life simply melted away into the grass. Looking up at the dark night sky, he saw the vast system of the Milky Way. This glowing band of pale light holds billions of ancient stars. The sheer size of this star system is impossible for a human mind to fully grasp. It stretches out in a massive swirling wheel of bright dust and shining gas. Every tiny point of light is a giant sun burning in the dark. Between these bright, burning stars lie the vast, freezing distances of deep space. The black gaps between them are huge and mostly empty. In this giant cosmic ocean, our whole world is just a tiny floating sphere. The earth is a small speck of blue and green drifting quietly through the dark. We are all just tiny passengers riding on this gentle, spinning rock. Embracing this massive cosmic view brings a wonderful healing consequence. All of our loud human worries suddenly shrink down to nothing. They become completely tiny against the grand, sparkling backdrop of the galaxy. The little things that keep us awake at night lose their sharp, painful edges. A missed goal or a bad day feels very small under a billion shining stars. Strict deadlines at work no longer seem like matters of life and death. Social fears and daily embarrassments fade into absolute nothingness in the dark. The quiet galaxy does not care about our rushing around or our loud plans. This huge scale offers a deep, comforting kind of relief to a tired heart. You are allowed to just exist, small and safe, in a giant universe. The beauty of a deep, star-filled night in New Jersey is incredibly quiet. Silver starlight casts long, soft shadows across the open, grassy fields. The bright moon paints the edges of the dark trees in a pale, glowing white. A cool, damp air settles gently over the tall weeds. The harsh heat of the busy day is completely gone. In this nighttime world, there is a complete absence of human noise. No wooden carts rattle down the dusty dirt roads. No loud voices break the perfect glassy silence of the fields. There is only the soft rustle of dry leaves brushing together in the dark. The quiet environment itself wraps around you like a cool, heavy blanket. This deep, natural peace is not just found by walking outside in the dark. Walt Whitman found a way to put this exact calm into his writing. He built the feeling of a quiet night right into his famous verses. He designed his poetry to physically alter your state of mind. His specific use of language does something very special to the human body. The formatting of his long lines is meant to slow your breathing rate down. As you read, your chest naturally matches the long rolling pace of his words. The literary structure itself becomes a gentle, invisible guide to deep rest. In the pages of Leaves of Grass, he uses a special writing method to calm you. He builds long rhythmic lists that gently catalogue the whole world. He names wide rivers, busy occupations, wild animals, and quiet, snowy landscapes. He stacks these simple images one after another in a steady, rolling wave. This procedural method of listing things has a very clear, calming purpose. The endless flow of simple images intentionally overwhelms your analytical brain. Your mind cannot easily sort or judge so many different pictures at once. So, the thinking, worrying part of your brain simply gives up. You slip easily into a calm, trance-like state of peace. There is a real neurological system behind this rhythmic, repeating language. The human brain responds physically to a steady, predictable beat. When you listen to a repeated cadence, your nervous system begins to match it. Your fast heart rate naturally starts to lower and calm down. Your blood pressure drops as the gentle rhythm takes over your body. The brain shifts away from a state of active, worried alertness. It moves smoothly into a soft phase of passive reception. The mind stops scanning the dark room for danger or problems to solve. It just lets the steady beat of the words wash over it like warm water. The biology of the body gladly obeys the slow rhythm of the poem. There is a profound emotional comfort in being carried by the text this way. As a reader, you no longer have to figure anything out. You do not have to solve a tricky puzzle or understand a complex plot. You do not have to perform for anyone or prove you are smart. You are allowed to just float on the gentle current of Whitman's words. His strong, steady voice holds you up, just like the solid earth at Timber Creek. The poetry rocks you back and forth in a safe, quiet space. The heavy burden of thinking is lifted right off your tired shoulders. The consequence of this literary technique is truly beautiful and rare. Leaves of Grass becomes much more than an academic book of old ideas. It steps out of the dusty classroom and right into the quiet bedroom. It stops being a hard thing to study and becomes a soft thing to use. The book transforms into a highly effective practical tool for finding calm. It is a trusted, quiet medicine for easing a racing, worried mind. Anyone can open its pages to find instant physical peace and comfort. The poetry acts as a soft, sturdy bridge between a hard day and a deep, restful sleep. The bright sun finally begins its slow, heavy drop below the distant horizon. The busy, noisy day at Timber Creek in the late summer of 1877 starts to gently fade. The hot, heavy air cools down as the bright sky turns a deep, soft purple. The active, waking world gets the quiet, steady signal that it is finally time to rest. This gentle shift in the sky happens every single evening without fail. The bright, harsh light gently walks away, leaving a calm, cool blanket behind. The whole natural landscape seems to breathe a deep, long sigh of pure relief. The steady transition from the loud day to the quiet night is a beautiful, natural promise. It is a promise that peace always returns. As the sky darkens, the natural world begins a very quiet, ancient routine. Small, wild flowers physically fold their soft petals together to protect themselves from the cool air. Tired, busy birds fly back to their safe, hidden nests in the tall branches. This was the exact evening routine Walt Whitman watched closely from his favourite wooden chair in the woods. Then the hidden night creatures take their turn to step forward into the cool air. Tiny insects wake up and begin to sing soft songs in the damp, cooling grass. Pale moths flutter softly through the heavy, sweet air near the quiet pond. The natural procedure of the night shifts the forest from a busy workplace to a peaceful, humming choir. The sharp, hard edges of the world begin to soften in the dim, fading light. Bright greens and loud yellows blur into soothing, quiet shades of blue and grey. The harsh lines of the deep Camden woods melt away into gentle, dark shapes. Your tired eyes no longer have to work hard to see every tiny, bright detail in the landscape. The thick dusk acts just like a thick, cosy blanket pulled over the sleepy earth. It completely hides the messy parts of the day that are left unfinished. The bright visual cues of hard work and deep worry are totally covered up by the deep evening. It is a clear, physical sign that your daily tasks are officially and completely done. In the quiet, dusty pages of Leaves of Grass, the night is never a scary thing. Whitman created a beautiful, comforting system of symbols in his famous writing. He did not view the dark hours as a time of fear or hidden danger. Instead, he saw the deep night as a kind, gentle mother who loves all her tiny children. This kind maternal figure steps in to cover the tired earth with deep, healing care. She arrives every single evening to bring restorative sleep to every living creature. The darkness is simply a safe, quiet room where the busy mind can finally heal. It is a protective, soft space designed to keep the harsh, demanding world far, far away from you. The beautiful consequence of accepting this kind night is a deep, inner softening. You can finally let go of all the day's hard, unsolved problems. You do not have to fix anything or prove yourself to anyone right now. What is done is already done, and what is left unfinished can easily wait for tomorrow morning. The anxious, loud part of your mind is fully allowed to power down. You can drop the heavy, painful guilt of feeling like you did not do enough today. The tight, painful grip of worry slowly loosens its hold on your tired brain. You are given full, loving permission to just exist in the quiet, peaceful dark. The emotional impact of this total surrender is a profound, lasting sense of peace. You can feel the tight, heavy feeling in your chest physically melt away into nothing. Just as Whitman found deep relief by the quiet pond, you find true relief in your quiet bed. The heavy backpack of daily stress is finally set down gently on the floor. A quiet, pure joy fills the empty space where all your worry used to live. You do not have to achieve a single thing in this gentle, floating moment. You are safe, you are warm, and you are entirely enough exactly as you are. The deep release brings a wave of calm that washes over your entire resting body. Just outside your window, the unseen natural world continues its steady, helpful work. A dark, cool wind moves gently through the tall, sleeping trees. You can hear the soft, quiet rustle of dry leaves brushing against each other in the dark. It is the exact same soothing sound recorded in Whitman's personal notebooks back in the year 1881. The massive earth keeps turning, and the ancient trees keep swaying in the cool breeze. This steady, gentle background noise is a comforting reminder that the world is perfectly okay. The huge planet is taking care of itself while humanity safely and quietly rests. You can trust the dark wind to watch over the sleeping earth until the morning sun comes. As you listen to the gentle wind, your body begins a very helpful physical procedure. Your core body temperature drops just a tiny, comfortable bit. Your heartbeat slows down to a steady, calm, and incredibly peaceful rhythm. Old medical records show this simple biological shift is the very first real step into deep, healing sleep. Your breathing becomes deep, slow, and perfectly even in the quiet room. The tight muscles in your face, your neck, and your tired shoulders completely relax. The busy, conscious mind slowly dissolves into the soft, cloudy landscape of pleasant dreams. Your physical body knows exactly how to guide you down into heavy, restful slumber. This gentle, guided journey into sleep is the true, enduring legacy of Walt Whitman. His specific, loving voice was written down in dark ink over a century ago. Yet, those old printed words still act as a living, breathing companion today. The thick book of poetry continues to offer a warm, safe hand in the quiet hours of the modern night. The old poet built a sturdy, lasting bridge out of simple, loving words. That invisible bridge stretches all the way from his distant time right into your quiet room. The old paper and ink hold a peaceful, quiet promise that never fades away. His calm, steady presence waits patiently to help you find your deep rest every single night. Walt Whitman built a special hidden trick into his calming poetry. He wrote his gentle words directly to the people of the future. He did not just write for his close friends back then. He wrote for you, sitting here in your room right now. He wanted his steady voice to jump forward through the long years. He wanted to reach you. This is exactly how his beautiful, timeless system works. He ignores the normal, strict rules of time completely. He speaks gently, as if he is standing right beside your bed. The old poet reaches a warm, caring hand across the many decades. He breaks the invisible time barrier just to bring you peace tonight. Time means nothing to his words. Because of this direct, open link, a wonderful truth appears. You suddenly realize you share the exact same sky with him. The bright, quiet stars shining above your roof right now are not new. They are the exact same stars he looked up to see in the dark. Time simply falls away when you look at the peaceful night. Those very same stars shined down during the long, hard American Civil War. They watched over the quiet camps and the sleeping, tired soldiers. Now, those ancient lights shine softly and safely on you. The very same green grass grows deep in the dirt beneath your feet. You are part of his endless, living world. Everything remains connected. This brings us to his most famous, gentle promise to the reader. At the very end of his book, Leaves of Grass, he says he will stop somewhere waiting for you. This simple, quiet line brings a deep, heavy wave of comfort. It feels like a true promise from a very good old friend. You feel completely understood and deeply loved. This is the true, lasting promise of healing nature. Ever since the year 1855, his poetic words have held this safe space open. The quiet woods and the soft dirt are always waiting patiently for your return. You are never rushed, and you are never left behind in the dark. The earth always welcomes you back with open arms. Now it is time for your own quiet, calming action. You gently close the heavy paper book of poems, or you reach out and press the button to turn off your bright screen. The glowing light fades away completely into the soft dark. Your room becomes dark, cool, and very still. The day is officially over. This is the final conscious choice of your long, busy day. You step far away from the loud, bright noise of the modern world. In the year 2024, choosing to turn off the noise is a brave, healthy act. You leave the fast, glowing screens behind. You enter the deep, restorative silence of true rest. This quiet restores your tired mind. In this quiet, heavy darkness, your body begins a hidden job. Deep inside, tiny cells start their careful, quiet repair work. This amazing biological system, meaning the way your body naturally works, happens every single time you sleep. Your body acts just like the cold, resting winter earth. It uses the dark hours to fix broken things and grow much stronger. Modern scientists know exactly how this natural healing system works. The brain washes away the busy, messy thoughts from the day. The tired muscles slowly rebuild their lost strength in the dark. Your body restores all its depleted energy, filling up its empty tank in the quiet night. It prepares you slowly and gently for the bright light of the next dawn. The bedroom around you is perfectly still and quiet right now. A cool, gentle breeze drifts in through a slightly open window. It brings the fresh, clean smell of the night air inside. The curtains barely move in the soft, quiet wind. The whole room feels like a safe, hidden cave just for you. A small clock on the wall ticks with a steady, slow beat. That quiet rhythm matches the slow, calm beating of your own heart. You are completely safe inside this house in North America tonight. You are wrapped tightly in thick, heavy, warm blankets. Absolutely nothing can harm you in this peaceful, quiet place. Because you are so safe, a wonderful, deep change happens. The sharp, tight anxiety that gripped your mind hours ago is completely gone. It has been totally neutralized, wiped out completely by the quiet dark. The heavy worries of the day have melted away into nothingness. Your chest feels light, open, and completely free from fear. This is the true, calming power of his cosmic perspective. This wide view of the universe makes your daily troubles shrink away. The big, open sky makes small human worries disappear completely. You do not have to fix anything at all right now. Your mind is finally clear, empty, and perfectly ready to rest. You might feel very small next to the giant, endless universe. But this tiny feeling is incredibly profound, meaning it touches your heart deeply. You are just one small person in a huge, spinning world. Yet this smallness feels like a warm, heavy blanket over your shoulders. It takes away all the heavy pressure to be important. You feel perfectly safe in this huge, wide, open space. Gentle gravity holds you securely to your soft, warm bed. The ancient bright stars watch closely over your quiet street in the city. You are tied to the vast living network of the whole earth. You belong exactly where you are resting right now. You take one more slow, deep breath in the quiet dark. You pull the cool night air all the way down into your chest. Your lungs fill up completely, stretching out the very last bits of tension. You hold that quiet, peaceful breath for just one single second. Then you slowly push the air out. With that long, slow exhale, the very last tightness leaves your body. Your arms and legs become heavy, warm, and completely loose. You sink down deeply into the soft, waiting mattress. In this quiet room tonight, the loud, waking world drifts far away. You are finally ready to fall into a deep, healing sleep. Walt Whitman saw a grand, beautiful circle in all living things. He wrote that just as the sun goes down, it will always come back up again. We close our heavy eyes to sleep at night, but we will always wake up to a fresh morning. This is the gentle promise of the world. This is a giant, endless loop that keeps us safe. Nothing is ever truly lost in this great turning wheel of life. We are just a small, quiet part of a perfect, unbroken rhythm. The universe moves in a slow, steady circle, and it carries us along without any effort from us at all. Now let your mind float up from your quiet, warm bed. Imagine lifting right through the roof of your house, light as a feather. You drift up past the tops of the tallest trees in your neighborhood. The cool night air holds you up as you rise higher into the dark, open sky. You rise higher and higher into the calm, quiet night sky. The soft city lights start to fade away far below you. Soon you are floating high above the thick, grey clouds. The heavy pull of the ground is gone, leaving you feeling completely free and totally weightless in the wide, open air. From this great sweeping height, the whole world comes into view. The planet appears as a quiet, glowing blue marble. It hangs perfectly safe in the soft, endless dark of space. The white clouds swirl gently over the wide blue oceans. It is a beautiful, silent globe floating in the deep, peaceful night. Everything down there on the ground is peaceful and completely still. The deep oceans shine softly under the silver light of the moon. This beautiful blue home is safe in the quiet, watching sky. All the loud noises of the busy day are completely gone. There is only a deep, resting calm covering the globe. In this wide, open space, every single worry melts away completely. The soft words from leaves of grass echo in the quiet dark. All human fears seem so tiny and far away from up here. The heavy stress of the day just dissolves into nothing. You feel a deep, warm peace wrapping around you. A deep, wonderful feeling of awe washes over your whole body. There is absolutely no room for fear in this huge, empty silence. You are completely safe in the dark, starry blanket of the night. The small troubles of the human world cannot reach you here. You are perfectly hidden in the quiet sky. Deep space stretches out forever in every single direction. Huge, ancient stars burn brightly in the quiet, freezing cold. Great clouds of silver stardust turn very slowly in the dark. Everything in the universe is connected by this peaceful, empty space. The The slow, quiet spin of the galaxies rocks you like a gentle cradle. This cosmic view changed how people read poetry forever. Readers learned to use these simple words to calm their tired minds. The practice of reading for deep peace became a lasting, helpful habit. People realized that a few quiet lines could completely change how they felt at the end of a long, hard day. Books became a trusted tool to slow down a racing heart. People kept these calming poems on small tables right next to their beds. They turned to the soft verses whenever they needed deep, healing rest. The steady rhythm of the lines worked just like a slow, deep breath for the worried mind. The people who lived through those hard times finally found comfort. The heavy, dark sadness of the past began to slowly lift away. A whole generation learned how to breathe easily and sleep deeply again. The gentle poems offered a safe place to rest when the real world felt too loud and too scary. Families shared these quiet lines to heal their deep hidden hurt. The soft, caring words helped them let go of their old pain. They found a shared, lasting peace in the calming, rhythmic verses. Reading together at night became a way to wash away the heavy burdens of the long, tiring day. The American Civil War had left deep, painful scars on the land, but the green grass always grew back over the quiet fields. The earth quietly covered the past with fresh, soft, new life. The soil slowly healed itself, proving that life and peace will always return to the ground after a dark storm. Spring always returned to the deep woods and the wide plains. The tall trees grew strong and green in the quiet, warm sun. Nature proved that a calm, beautiful peace will always follow the darkness. The whole world naturally moves toward healing, just like a tired body naturally moves toward deep, restful sleep. One gentle question still lingers in the quiet air today. We still wonder exactly how simple words can heal our tired bodies. The exact link between a written poem and deep calm remains slightly hidden. We do not fully understand the secret magic that happens in the brain when we hear a beautiful rhythm. Science shows our heart rate drops when we hear steady rhythms. But the deep, quiet magic of the soul is much harder to measure. We only know that the sweet, heavy peace we feel is very real. The exact science does not matter when your eyes are heavy and your mind is finally still. The lasting gift of this work is a perfectly quiet mind. Millions of people still find sweet rest in these old, soft words. The simple lines act as a strong, safe bridge to deep sleep. This old poetry remains a trusted friend for anyone who needs to slow down and find peace in the dark. Today, small books of these old words sit in quiet rooms. Hospitals keep them on small wooden tables. Doctors know that a simple poem can bring deep calm to a worried room. This is a real change born from the American Civil War. The healing power of these words became a trusted tool for care. Real people feel this comfort every night. A tired mother might read one page and feel her shoulders drop. A busy worker might read a short line and let out a slow breath. The heavy weight of a hard day melts away. They feel deeply understood by a man from long ago. That feeling brings a very sweet relief. It is like finding a warm hand in a quiet room. When we read Walt Whitman, we do not feel so alone. His calm voice tells us our fears are small. He says the universe is very safe. This soft promise helps tired eyes finally close. The wider world now sees nature poetry as a real way to rest. Teachers show people how to read these lines very slowly. They ask readers to stop at the end of every sentence. They teach people to take a deep breath before turning the page. This careful reading changes how the brain handles stress. You open Leaves of Grass and look at the words. The lines stretch out long and wide across the paper. Your eyes move back and forth in a steady, rocking motion. This simple movement sends a signal of peace to your body. The physical act of reading becomes a gentle rocking chair for your mind. But a beautiful mystery still floats around this old work. We do not know exactly how a voice from the past stays so warm. It is hard to say why an old poem feels like it was written just for you. Time usually washes old feelings away, but these words only grow stronger. The secret link remains a quiet puzzle. Maybe this mystery is exactly what makes the poetry work. We do not need to solve the puzzle to feel the soft comfort. We just let the gentle question float away as we sink into rest. The unknown parts of the universe give our minds a place to wander. We step away from hard facts and walk into a soft field. The final result is a permanent change in how we view our place in the world. This book changed the way we look at a simple patch of dirt. It gave us a cosmic perspective that we still use today. Schools teach these poems as a way to understand life. The book stands as a solid rock of peace. You can find this book in almost every library on earth. It has been printed in many languages for all kinds of people. From busy cities to quiet farm towns, the pages carry the exact same message of rest. The lasting gift of this work is a shared sense of calm. It is a free tool for peace. When a person reads these words, a special system of relief begins. The mind stops looking at tiny, stressful details. Instead, it zooms out to look at the whole giant universe. This wide view acts like a cool drink of water for a hot brain. The reader sees they are just one safe piece of a grand design. This system works because it removes the pressure to be perfect. The poetry shows that every single thing in nature belongs exactly where it is. A common weed is just as perfect as a bright star. When a tired reader accepts this rule, their worries shrink. They learn that just being alive is more than enough. Think of a quiet bedroom at the very end of a long day. A small lamp casts a warm glow on a wooden nightstand. A thick, worn copy of the book rests next to a glass of water. Outside the window, the wind blows gently through the tall trees. The world slows down to listen to the night. Far beyond that window, the moon shines over open fields and deep oceans. The tide pulls the sea back and forth in a slow, sleepy rhythm. Millions of tiny plants grow silently in the cool dirt. The earth keeps spinning in a smooth, quiet circle through space. Everything is resting, and everything is exactly as it should be. You close your eyes and picture a single green blade of grass. It bends softly in the wind, deeply rooted and perfectly safe. There is nothing left to do, and nowhere else to be. You let go of the day, sinking deeply into a calm, sweet sleep.